and welcome to the Gaia update for the new moon in Aquarius that's happening on February 4th, 2019. I'm Adrienne Elise. So this new moon is, the Aquarius new moon marks the beginning, the day after the new moon is Chinese New Year. So this is really when we're starting to get into the new energies of this year. We're moving into the year of the Earth, Yin Earth Pig. And so it's a shift. Now the pig is the end, though, of the Chinese zodiac. So this Chinese zodiac is a 12-year cycle, and the pig is the last one. So we're moving into new energies, but we're also in a year of completion. Now this totally fits moving into the intense astrology of 2020. So 2019 isn't a year to kind of just sit back and let things happen. It's a year to really pay attention, to try to get your vibration in alignment, to start working on manifesting your dreams. And there's good energy for hard work paying off with Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn here. But we have to kind of pay attention to what's going on. And we'll be starting to see some movement, some effect of our work, and that will be helpful to help us get on the path and to stay focused, because this is an epic revolutionary time. This is incredibly rare astrology of 2020 when Saturn and Jupiter and Pluto all come together in the sign of Capricorn, as well as the South Node. And huge messages here about breaking down and changing and revolutionizing the structures of our reality to better fit the truth of who we are and to move us into this new age, the age of Aquarius, the age of hope and egalitarianism and making this world better for all of us. So we are going to start feel some kind of like a little bit more effect and feeling like we're moving forward. But this year, as a transition year, as a preparation year for 2020, we're going to be in and out. You know, it's like we're starting new energy, but we're stepping back into the old. We're kind of straddling the two worlds, and this is kind of the deal right now. The reason why all these changes and spiritual evolution is taking so long is because we're trying to do it as harmoniously as possible. We're trying to bring as many souls along with us as we go. And so it's a frustrating time, though, especially 2018. It just felt like going totally back into the dark ages. Now, a lot of that had to do with the fact that Chiron retrograded back into Pisces and has been lingering for these last few months at these end degrees of Pisces, kind of trying to complete the dark ages. Chiron is our wounded healer, and Pisces has an energy of martyrdom, and Chiron is actually kind of an affinity with that Pisces energy, so it is exalted there, kind of like a ruler of Pisces. And so we're really feeling this right now because this is where Chiron is. It's gone direct, but it's still in Pisces at that last degree. But we are completing this chapter, right? It might take us a whole year to complete this chapter, but we are doing it, and we are preparing for the new. We can't stop what's coming with this crazy 2020 astrology. So it's just a time to pay attention, to get down and do the work. A lot of people are feeling so exhausted, like they're not seeing any benefit of the hard work they've been doing. But that should shift. And it's not a time to kind of let life just go by. It's a time to insert your will and your spiritual will and your desires, spiritual desires, your alignment with your optimal timeline into your reality. So this is really helped along by a transit we're feeling right now, and this has a lot to do with the 2019 energies. Very helpful, magical combination of Saturn, Sextile, Neptune. Now Saturn is at home in Capricorn, wants to see some hard work happen, wants to break through some barriers, but also it's bringing up the obstacles that are in our way of moving forward. But in Sextile to Neptune, now Neptune, so Saturn's like the manifested reality and the wall you come up against when you try to change it in a way. And then Neptune is like the dream, it's the cosmos, it's the connection to the greater, bigger, wholeness. It's also our delusions and fantasies. But with our manifested world and our fantasy and dreams coming together in a sextile, it's like, okay, time to bring these dreams into reality. So the energy this year is going to be very helped along by taking baby steps. Even if you don't know exactly where you're heading and what you're trying to do, just try to take action steps, little baby action steps along the way. Saturn is the mountain goat going up the hill, and we got to just, we might falter a little bit. We might not be on the right path to begin, but we got to kind of start the journey. And this is going to help us, right? So 2019 is also when Uranus moves into the sign of Taurus for good, where it's been in Aries, retrograding back into Aries, right? So that's going to happen in March. And this is all about landing home these new spiritual energies into our physical world, infusing this physical world with our with higher vibrational realities. And so with this Saturn sextile Neptune, it's like, okay, dream your dream and work for it, right? Like if you are going to put your head down, your nose down and get to work, and you really want to keep your head up and keep connected to that bigger, wider vision, but just get to work in the regular everyday world and know that this is going to pay off what you do right now. And if it's going in the wrong direction, it'll quickly adjust to the right direction once you take action. So that's a lot of the medicine for right now. And we're feeling it as we move into this new moon, because Mars is in Aries, at home in Aries, and Mars loves to be home in Aries. It's very empowering, but it's also impatient because Mars wants to see action in the world, change, and feel movement. And it's our warrior self, right? And then it's in square to Pluto and Capricorn, and this is all this frustration is coming up about the structures of our world not budging, not changing, and feeling like all of your hard work isn't getting anywhere, right? And so Mars is frustrated, and it's bringing up a lot of the feelings that people felt in the Mars retrograde that was happening in the middle of 2018 during those eclipses. And so it's this feeling of just like completely held back in anything you're trying to do, encumbered by the physical world, just like nothing's working. No, you just can't get anywhere no matter how hard you try. Now, we're just visiting this place, but it is an interesting energy as we look at the year ahead. This is where our frustration is coming from. It's coming from this place of not being able to move see the effects of our hard work, of seeing that we're actually getting somewhere, that we're actually doing something, that we're actually here for a reason and a purpose. So the fact that Mercury and the Sun are together with the moon for this new moon is actually a really sweet energy to help along this other frustrating energy of not feeling like you're getting anywhere. It's kind of like after a year of retrograde and adjustment, it's like, this is just like, enough already, right? But Mercury and the Sun together with the new moon here in Aquarius is like, who are you really? Like the Sun is who we are, and Mercury is our conceptual everyday reality. Our concepts are kind of the way we see things, our perspective. And so when the Sun and Mercury come together, it's an opportunity to adjust and harmonize our perspective of who we are, what we're doing, where we're going. So the great thing about this, and the moon too, that's our emotional perspective. And so all of that energy together in Aquarius is in sextile to Jupiter in Sagittarius. Now Jupiter is the quest, and it's our greater purpose, and it's this bigger picture of what's happening. It's going beyond the veil and searching and learning and expanding, and it's a very inspired energy. We haven't been able to really enjoy this Jupiter in Sagittarius because it happened in November, and we were still recovering from the Venus, dealing with the Venus retrograde, and then we had another Mercury retrograde, and then we had the eclipse season in this last month of January. So now we're just starting. So it's kind of a sweet energy, a sweet little kind of gift for us here in this new moon in Aquarius of like, hey, don't forget who you really are. You know, don't forget that there's so much more out there than this narrow reality. All the forces in the universe are, you know, or in our manufactured reality are keeping us here in this little box of this is all there is, you know. This physical world is all there is. And it's a total lie. You know, we're just so much more and so much bigger. And we have this incredible journey ahead of us, being consciousness embodied, you know, incarnate in a body and aware of itself, going through a spiritual ascension experience. I mean, so amazing. So this Aquarius, Sagittarius energy is helping us see, oh, wait, okay, phew, it's a way bigger picture to this, right? Like, don't get trapped into the narrow confines of this reality. And get back in touch with that original quest. It could be lifetimes since you felt this, that you were working together with the cosmos to create something and be a part of a movement. And, you know, because lightworker souls came again and again with all this enthusiasm for this journey and were thwarted, right? And it's kind of like, how many times does that happen as a soul until you kind of feel like you want to give up? And that's what we're all coming up against, these feelings right now. You know, the more you come to the earth with this excitement and to be a part of this transition, and the more it's been thwarted and held off, the more frustrating and kind of ineffectual feelings and worthless feelings and failure feelings, all that stuff is just coming up right now, especially with this Mars square Pluto, but it's only going to last for a couple more days, right? And we in the background of that, that's in the foreground, and that's all the busy mind ego stuff, right? And we have to put that aside, and we have to take a moment to try to reconnect back into this quest, this vision, this bigger purpose of why we're here, because it's the medicine that we need right now. Okay, so the medicine we need is to connect back to our vision, our purpose, our wider quest, and also to begin work on manifesting real, actual 3D work. You know, and maybe this has been part of 2018 was so difficult to make things happen, you know, and now we can, you know, you can start actually moving. And so that's the other medicine of this year is hard work. Just move, just start doing some stuff in this reality that reflects that greater purpose and mission. And you'll feel better right away, you know. So those are the medicines available for us with that Saturn, Sextile, Neptune, bringing our dreams and our visions, you know, this kind of connecting back to who we really are as soul spirits and our original quest and coming to this earth and starting to build that energy in this world, you know, build our temples, basically. And so those things, getting in touch with that quest and just making baby steps forward in the direction you think, and it probably might not be exactly the right direction, but it will adjust because, you know, part of the problem and the frustration right now is that light worker souls have been so programmed against their gifts and their purpose and their passions. And so the deal with these souls is they've gone through so much, like soul growth, and achieved so much in multi-dimensional realities through all these different experiences and spiritual ascensions. And it's like, but then from the traumas that have occurred in this 3D reality and being here on the earth and this thwarting energy of the process that we're trying to be a part of, the traumas have kept us, like, have separated us from these soul gifts, right? And so we're left with a feeling like, I know I'm here to do something, like, I've got something I need to do, but who am I? What am I doing? What's the point? You know? And so we have to, this is kind of like, because the earth energies up to this point, and our process of these traumas that our soul has experienced in past lives has made us split into pieces. Basically, we're just partially incarnate, you know. And I don't know how many people I work with that are just like, I just want to be on my path. I want my full potential. I want to do what I'm here to do. This is the peace. This is where we find peace as light worker souls. And yet, there's this great rejection of these gifts because they're tied up with trauma programming, right? Like maybe fear of your potential, fear of your power, and like, or maybe you feel like you don't deserve these gifts. But it's like, you can't actually do your mission until you receive who you really are, right? Like, it's not going to work, you know, and you can't find your soul team, your people that you need to resonate with if you're refusing to receive who you are, right? And this is this Uranus and Taurus energy coming in, like, land. It's time to land. It's time to incarnate. The thing is that when you bring life back to dead places, like the things that we've numbed ourselves to, like say you were in an accident and you hurt yourself and it kind of went numb, it kind of circulation, and then you get healing, right? You're gonna have to feel the pain that you weren't feeling, right? And that's what we've been going through in these last years. It's like we're incarnating, we're coming out of the numbness, coming out of the sleep of this drug-induced, like, mind control soup we've been in, you know, and we have to feel and experience these traumas again. That's part of this Chiron at the end degrees of Pisces. So we're really kind of feeling that right now, you know. So the Mars square Pluto is saying frustration, man. It's like, oh, stuff isn't moving, you know, I'm at the end of my rope here, right, you know. And then we've also got but we've also, now Venus is in Sagittarius as well, right? It's at the end degrees of Sagittarius. So Venus is our desires, it's our loves, it's what makes us feel good, it's what we really want, our value system. And so at the end degrees of Sagittarius, that means it's going over the galactic center. And it's like the goddess in all of us is getting empowered into that wider, bigger purpose, right? So with Mercury in the sun and the moon all together in Aquarius, sextile Jupiter in Sagittarius, and then Venus in Sagittarius. Now, the thing is, it's going over that galactic center, but then it comes smack dab into a square, into this Chiron at the end degrees of Pisces, right? And this is where we are coming face to face with the truth of who we are, our value system, what we really want in the world, our galactic truth, you know, the bigger truth of who we are, our bigger value system, and these woundedness, this intense woundedness of this past age, of the dark ages. You know, the past age of Pisces is where the collective consciousness energy was used to control humanity, and you know, religion energies and spiritual energies were used to control humanity, and it was a dark, dark time where horrible things happen. Now, the light rehearsals that are feeling so much right now, a lot of it is because you were one of these volunteers that went into the darkest times on the planet, into these darkest periods of time. And of course, bringing light into that darkness, it's going to cause a stir, and maybe some things happen. You got targeted, persecuted, killed, tortured, and, you know, we're feeling all this again, you know. And it's almost like these parts of our soul that are stuck in other dimensional frequencies are reliving these traumas. This is what 2018 was a lot about, right? Just something little happening in everyday life, and then all of a sudden you're back in the dungeon and you're immobilized. And it's because we have to wake up and heal and clear and release these numb parts of our soul and incarnate fully and completely, right? So that Saturn sextile Neptune is like, yeah, time to land. Uranus moving into Taurus, time to land. Our soul is coming home. We've got right now Mars at home in Aries. We've got Saturn at home in Capricorn. We've got Jupiter at home in Sagittarius, and a lot of Neptune, of course, home in Pisces. So this is a year of coming home, and coming home into our body. And in that case, we have to release all of these numb stories, all these traumatized stories, and that is what can allow us to rebirth who we really are, you know, and to come in to this magic of who we are that's been kind of traumatized and programmed out of our reality. And so it's, you know, the whole energy here is like, yep, it's time to get back on the journey, but the souls are feeling so tired and so worn out and so kind of disillusioned. And so, but we've got to kind of, you know, get a pep talk going. We got to kind of like, oh, dude, it's like, but it's 2019, you know, and that's the year before 2020, when all of this stuff goes down in the sky. And don't you want to be ready to take advantage of this dynamic time, right? And so we got to kind of pull ourselves up by our bootstraps with that Chiron at the end degrees, you know, so we're completing a lot of things, right? Because in February, this month, Chiron moves into Aries, right? So this is, it's done, new chapter. And Venus is kind of bringing this to a head, you know, and saying, you know, it's time for us to empower ourselves galactically, not in the narrow confines of the reality we've been fed, but understand who we really are. And that's our value system, right? That's our quest. And so, pretty potent energy here, and a lot of messages for the year ahead, how important this year is, and how to work with this energy in the best way possible. Just keep active, keep heading in the direction that seems right at the time with baby steps, and heading up that mountain, even though it seems like you can never get to the top. You know, the closer you get to the top, the more you can't see the top. You know, and that's kind of where we are right now. And also get in touch with that wider, bigger vision, that empowerment of our galactic self and our galactic mission. So I hope you can join me for a live activation to celebrate this new moon, as well as Chinese New Year. So we're going to do this an hour before the new moon. So we're going to lead right up to the exact time of this new moon in Aquarius. And that's going to be at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Monday, February 4th. So that would be at noon Pacific Time, and that would be at 3 o'clock on the East Coast. So I hope you can join me. It's $10. This is a live activation, so it's to come together and just reset our vibration, make the most of these energies, get some information, some vision about the year ahead, and amplify our healing and our connection to our soul groups together. And if you can't make the live activation, it's still live on the replay. The energy's encoded. Your questions can be answered and addressed in the channel messages. So I hope to see you there on Monday. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.